You're listening to Lighthouse Conversations, brought to you by Lighthouse Haven, a spiritual home for your awakening soul. Lighthouse Conversations is a show where awakening souls gather to be inspired, connected, and enlightened. Spiritual spark plug and host Chelly Canales, that's me, will guide you through the twists and turns of your journey to a safe haven where you are finally free to live your best light. Each episode contains a conversation with a guest who has gone through a spiritual awakening, detailing their unique and life-changing experiences in an intimate and candid way. Although everyone's experience is as unique as they are, we all share one common thread. We're all seeking something. So, come join us on this journey and be prepared to leave with resources that will supercharge you into inspired action. Here's today's episode. Well, hello, awakening souls. How are you doing? Have you thought at all lately about what your purpose is? Like, what is my mission? What is my purpose? According to my guest today, Lisseth Wertz, she tells us that purpose is about you, but mission is about others. And I found that really fascinating. It's a really amazing way to look at it because there is how we show up in the world that fulfills us, that makes our heart happy, that brings all of our gifts and talents to the surface, and just brings us so much joy and positive energy and a rush of energy when we do those things. And there's how we can best serve the world with those gifts. And for me, I call it the circle of light. You know, you find that thing that fills your heart that you love so much, and you're like, yes, this is my purpose. Right here is my purpose. And then it goes out into a circle from your heart to the world. And you learn what your mission is based on what your purpose is, what those gifts are. And then when you see the results of that, it comes back to you and it feeds your heart again because you're getting to see all the great work you're doing in the world and the improvements that you can make in other people's lives and helping change society and helping grow good humans. There's so many ways that our gifts can serve the world in the best way possible. And the best thing we can do is find that sweet spot where they come together. So we do talk about that. We talk about how Lisseth's healing journey and her journey towards becoming a healer happened very quickly. It was a quantum leap, and it kind of challenges all those notions that it takes a really long time or you have to have done this for so many years in order to be qualified to work with spirit or work with energy. So it's really quite fascinating to hear her story, and I think you're really going to enjoy it. So take a listen. And welcome to the show, Lisseth. How are you?
I am fantastic. How are you?
I'm great. It's an honor to have your energy, your beauty, your spirit, your soul here on the show today. I felt your power like the moment that I met you, and I knew that you were someone I needed to know and wanted to get to know more about and what your work is. So your role is a subconscious shifter, a quantum leap facilitator, and a soul integration guide. Wow, this is incredible. I want to hear so much about this, but I want to know, how did you go on the journey that took you here to knowing that this was your path and that you were going to serve others in this capacity?
Um, was a lot like what now I'm sharing. How I got this is because I wanted something in my life. Like many of us, I'm not certain if it's 100% of the people. There's a part of me that says yes, but I knew in my core that I was destined, quote mark for more. That I knew that I had so much potential, and I knew that the life that I was living could be so much greater. And so I remember back then when I stumbled upon energy work and deep transformation, I was doing actually well. I just had started 2 businesses and they were doing good right off the bat. I was also working at a corporation, and as I saw my businesses starting to do good, I stumbled upon this program that said, are you ready for an abundant year? It was the end of the year. And I was like, what is that about? Right. And of course I want more. Right. And this program talked about having more, connecting with your guides and having life with ease. And so I was like, great, I'm doing good right now. So imagine how much more can I have with the help of my guides and whatnot, right? And so it was all about abundance. So I said, okay, what is the worst that can happen to me, right? Like, I have nothing to lose, right? And I didn't ask that question. It's funny that it came out that way, but it was more like, what do I have to lose? They offer back then a 30 day or 90 day even money back guarantee. So I was like, I don't have anything
What do
to
you have to
lose,
lose?
right? If that it doesn't work, I gave my money back. Done, right? Little did I know the space I would be led onto. Um, but I have to say, I mean, from that moment, there was about a year prior to that moment, almost, I mean, I want to say 9 months prior to that moment, I did a deep prayer. I found myself on the top of the Red Rocks crying while everybody was partying in a concert. And again, I back then I was in not a good terms with the universe. I had put my cross across and was like, yeah. I was kind of in this space of being agnostic, not really like knowing that it is, but not really being sure. But again, I was living a life where I knew there was so much more available for me. I knew I had so much, and I felt that desire to be seen, to be used, to be of contribution, to be, yeah, to be using all of my talents. And I remember I was crying and I asked the universe, like I said back then, not in so good terms with the universe, but I was kind of like desperate, right? And I asked, please use me. I know I have so much to give. I want someone to see me, and I wanna be using all of my potential. And then, things started to unravel. Like I said, I started a couple of businesses that a few months later that I started to do good. And then when I came across this program, a lot of the heavy stuff started to come out that I had shut down. All my senses I had shut down, and of course I didn't know it. And yeah, really quickly I moved into like from being my normal self, what I knew, but I had the knowledge that I was sort of an angry person, but I didn't know how much of an angry person I was. And so
Yeah.
when I started to do the work, all of that started to come out. So I would move from like my regular, normal, bitchy side, I'm gonna say, to angry, to depressed, and I was like that for a few weeks. And I was like, this is not normal. There's something going on, right? And yeah, that started to take me into the path of finding out, getting help, getting angelic readings, because this person talk about angels and the spirit guides, right? And so yeah, I started to dive into that space, getting healings, and my gifts pretty much opened up overnight. And in that space of me doing the shifts in my life, of releasing, of starting to go through my own transformation, uh, other people came to me and they would see me in the program. So, hey, it seems like you're doing good. Can you help me?
Yeah.
I was like, okay, sure. And because my gifts came like right away, I started to guide people right away in that place. So it was like very nonchalant, me doing my transformation, me going through what I call the fun space of like um, discovering my gifts and producing my business, and then also helping others. Yeah, it was super fun, nonchalant, non-committed, I'm gonna say, in the sense of non-attached.
I see. So, I mean, it was very deep work that you were doing, but when you say nonchalant, you're just, how do you describe it? How can you be nonchalant and also be so like in it and committed and just making these quantum leaps that you teach people to do as well?
Well, and again, I'm talking about the beginning, right? Nonchalant in the sense like so many people nowadays, ask about what's my purpose, what is my mission,
Yes.
right? And they get so attached because again, they're feeling, I get it, right? I was feeling like there's an emptiness, there's something bigger, right? But the thing is like, and I say nonchalant because to me, I wasn't doing it because, oh, I have a purpose, or I want to find my purpose, I want to find my mission. I was nonchalant in the way like I had businesses that I wanted to take off, and I discovered that life could be different, and I discovered that my energy could be different. I was feeling all of a sudden happier, right? I was feeling all kinds of things that I wasn't aware I had, right? And so nonchalant in the sense of like I was just playing with it. I didn't think, oh,
Yes.
I'm gonna be a life coach, or I'm gonna be a healer, and now I have to do all these things, the ABC, and then the business. That was never my intention. It was more like I'm doing this for me. I'm feeling good. I'm connecting with the angels, and to me, like, call me right away. I'm working with crystals. I mean, a little bit, I started to do transformation, like it came very natural to me. Again, nonchalant, no, like, this is what I'm meant to do, right? And things started to flourish naturally. Like, I started to do energy readings, like, again, I just started to get hits. And then I went to my mentor. She taught me for 15 minutes, literally. And then she was like, okay, you're good. Off. Go do it. Okay. And I
You're
didn't,
in,
go ahead.
well, you're so receptive. You had such a state of flow because it seems like you didn't have blocks of maybe the ego of saying like, I need to be this kind of healer and I need to, get to this certain level. You were just experiencing it. You were in the moment by moment. And that's how it came to you is what I'm hearing.
Exactly. I was so much in the play mode.
Yes, yes,
Mode.
yes.
I didn't even know what it was a healer. And when I saw a healer, I was like, oh, that's cool that they do that. They can help me. But I didn't think this is what I'm gonna be for the people, right? It just came. And so that's why I started to go into flow, and everything is starting to come natural. And my mission started to show up because I was in that play mode, because I was
Right.
doing it for me. I was fulfilling my purposes. So I believe this is an important distinction that I feel like it's useful useful for people. Purpose is about you. Mission is about others.
Ooh, yes, 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 yes. I get that. Tell me more.
So, and again, the key, so many people ask my purpose, which in reality what I'm hearing is my mission. I want to know what I'm here for here in the planet. Well, number one, you're here for you.
Mm,
We're here for you, and for you to become more of you, for you to get this beautiful experiences of what is love, what is deep love, what are relationships, what is money, what is business, right? All this, what is pleasure, right? I mean, there's so many things that each of us have
mhm.
come to really get at a deep level. And so as we get that part of like, this is what I'm here for, this is my purpose, right? That's when the mission starts to show up. Like, oh, I see, right? I can help people with this because I am getting this, right? I'm learning this. So as I went very, again, nonchalant, right? I did get hit to a point where like, oh, okay, so I have these gifts. I guess I need to be serious about it,
Quote unquote. Uh-huh.
serious and get into programs and learn, because I'm responsible for whatever the results for the people. Another fallacy, right? Another illusion,
Right.
that the BS, right? And so, but in that seriousness is when things started, my gifts kept opening up. I mean, I've always been expanding and expanding from that point forward. But for me to get the business part, because of this seriousness, it was a challenge. Every time, if I look back in the 6 years that I've been contributing and serving, although I don't feel like I serve anymore, and we can talk about that if you want, but
Yeah.
uh, in the 6 years that I've been facilitating, uh, as I look back, the moments that I was very much in flow, the things happen magically, is the moments that I was playing, that I was very nonchalant. I was very like, oh, I feel like doing this and I feel like doing that. Just like, I never thought about reading energy. And then it showed up. I'm like, oh, I felt curious,
Curious. Yeah.
right? And I was like, oh, what does that look like? And I started to do it. Healing.
I can't believe it's
Go
only
ahead.
been 6 years. Like it was 6 years from the start of you just kind of getting curious about it. So that sounds like a quantum leap to me. I mean, I know it can happen faster in certain things, but I mean, this is a massive life that you've created for yourself in that short amount of time. Can you talk about what it is to have a quantum leap and how you help your clients have that same kind of experience happen to them?
I love that you said that, because it is, I mean, 6 years, it doesn't seem much. And to me, because of what I've seen in my life, and because what I see in the people that I work with, in the life of the people that I work with, I am a really strong believer that you don't have to wait years and years and years to change your life. Not even 2 years, and to be truthful, not even a year. And now I'm actually with sessions in within a very short amount of time, a month, one session, sometimes depending on how much work they have done prior to that. I see it in a matter of like 3 months, literally change in a matter of a session. I mean, for example, just this morning I had this session of with this client that she had very deep programming around shame and guilt of anything, of her asking for her desires, of her saying no, deep, like really heavy around those. And then by the end, almost 2 hours, it's totally gone. Like she's like, no, I don't feel it at all. And that's what happens. That's what I call quantum leap deep transformation. That's what I facilitate. Like,
And how much is it their input and how much is it of you, like, is it collaborative? Like, how does it happen?
it's definitely collaborative. Now, I do bring a lot of what I call my magic, a lot of what I see, in their subconscious, in their energy. I mean, I why it goes from 0 to 100, or however you want to see it, 100 charge to 0 charge, right? Or 0 freedom to 100 freedom, however you want to see it. Why it goes that way is because I include everything, meaning I look into the emotional pieces, I look into the mental pieces, I look into the subconscious, the conscious mind, I look into the brain, I look into the cells, the physicality, the DNA. And so I look into many things. So it's very comprehensive, yet very energetic. And so yeah, looking into all of that, I ask questions, right? And they start to share. And so I have one, the big thing is like it might seem like a therapy, but it's not a therapy because I'm not there to necessarily listen to the story. I'm there to release the charge,
Mm.
all the trauma around it, right? Or whatever the beliefs, right? And so I have them, as they're talking, I have them breathe. I have them see themselves releasing energetically. So it is a collaborative, as I have them do things, right? Do quote mark, right? And more like focusing on certain aspect of the energy and then feeling them release. And then I do everything else that I'm seeing in their field. And again, that depends. Like a couple of days ago, I was with this person, and he with him is I can see he does so much the work, but he's on the other side. Like I needed to have him not do anything. And I said, like, you relax because you're the one always in control, trying to control how your transformation goes. And that, as we know, anything that we control is limiting, right? So in his case, I had him, you chill and just feel, try to, like, every time that you try to go there, breathe and come back into just feeling, right? And so it just depends. Again, it's very into what the person needs in a one-on-one basis. In a group is different. In a group is different, but it's very juicy as well. Yeah.
So you sound so confident and aware of your gifts and how you can help people. And I feel like you're on this amazing trajectory where, it's just getting bigger and bigger, the impact you can have. Now, from where you are now compared to a few months ago, I guess it was around December of last year, you went through a pretty major transformation. Do you want to talk a little bit about that?
Yes, absolutely. Because I feel like I was a little bit ahead of what everybody right now is going through.
Mm.
Um,
I have no idea what you're talking about. Okay, we'll talk about that later, but
yeah. Yeah, the dark months of the soul.
yes.
That started in November for me, mid-November. I'm gonna say even a little bit more, but let's say November. Yeah. Where shall we start? So I feel like that journey started with a petition that I did exactly a year ago to the date. Um, a year ago, my whole intention that I put in my life is to become my divine, become who I truly, truly, truly am. And that's all. I said everything else. And that's all I said. That's my commitment. And from then on, as life went on, I was guided to do certain things. I was guided to let go of my business about 2, 3 months later. Let go of every single client I had that I had been working for at least 2 years. I had a group uh, facilitation business that I was doing, where I had 15 clients, and I had to let them all go after 1 month
Wow.
in the program. Only 1 month, and the commitment was for 6 months. And it's funny because normally, you get these spaces where like, oh, I feel like I'm done. And in this case, they were like, you promised me you would be there for me for 6 months. And they know that, when I'm guided, they respect it, but still the emotions come up, right? If you expect someone to support you for a certain time and then all of a
Of
sudden
course.
say, sorry, I can't, it brings a lot, right? So then a month later, I was guided to let go of my marriage. And
Mm.
then another month later, my best friend and healer crossed.
Yeah.
It was a full crumbling of everything that was not in alignment with the intention that I set. And yeah, and that took me by came December 30th, literally, um, everything was gone, right? And it took me into this space of like going through the grief. And I didn't know how to deal with grief. That took me into depression, very deep clinical depression. And so, yeah, it was very intense. 4 months of very intense, dark months of the soul. Um, I did pray a lot. I learned to truly surrender because I had no choice.
Right.
I really had no choice. It was either that or, I mean, I did wanted to leave. There's
Mhm.
a difference. I want to clarify because I don't think everybody understands this. And for some reason, I'm feeling compelled to share. There's a difference with wanting to suicide with
Mhm.
wanting to leave, like you're done, right? And I feel like, again, that's a whole other conversation, but it's such a taboo in our society. But it's so important to recognize that, again, the whole depression thing happens because I wasn't able to feel all the deep feelings that were coming up.
Yeah.
And that's what I know now depression is. And why so many people feel depression is because there's so much that we're feeling, and we have been taught and programmed in society that we need to shut it down, right?
Yes, we have.
It's not safe to feel. It's too much. And I can't cope with so much pain. And again, all these things that we have heard, and that's what leads us into depression, repressing, really. And within that is why we feel like when we're in such a low vibrational space, other energies attached to us,
Mhm.
darkness, right? And that's where we feel, and yes, some people might feel like killing themselves, some people might be suicidal, but I feel like mostly is, for a lot of us, is this like recognizing, I'm done, I don't want to be here. And then allowing yourself, giving yourself permission with that, it's on its own, it releases the stuff, right? I want to be gone, please help me, someone help me get out, right? um yeah, I went through that. And again, that I was in a, when that came out, I remember for me, I was in a place, in physical place, with people that didn't understand that. They had a
Right.
lot of judgment around that, and that took me into a even deeper darker hole. Yeah, and it was perfect, because one of the things within that space, again, I learned to really, really trust, got out of my control, trying to like, again, I'm the expert at shifting. So I'm like, when I found myself in that deep depression, I was like, I have no tools for this.
But how did you come out of it? Because clearly you did, and you came through in such a strong way.
It, it was that moment when I recognized I had no tools for this. I don't know how to navigate. So
Mm,
you, universe, you take me, you guide me, you put me whatever, however I need to go through, because I don't know how to navigate this.
right.
The only thing I knew is that I wouldn't take pills. But again, I have heard, like, do I have to go to the doctor now all the time? Do I have to, can I work? How does it work, right? Because when you are going through depression, you don't want to do anything. You don't have any spark of life in you, nothing whatsoever, right? And so in that deep surrender, it's like, okay, I just take me, because obviously you're not planning to take me away from the planet. So if you're planning to for me to stay, then just guide. And within 2 days, I got my miracle.
Talk about your miracle for us. Want to
Uh,
hear it?
well, I was going through this retreat, and and so when I realized that I was clinically depressed, almost borderline severe depression, and I put that prayer. I said, okay, I surrender, right? I was in the middle of this retreat, and of course they're asking, like, so what sparks you? I'm like, I don't know. What is it gonna move you, get you out of bed and moving? Like, I don't know. And then there's this coach that asked me, it started to name many things, right? And what about this? What about that? And I don't remember what he said because I was in such a fuss. But then he said love. And I was like, and it felt like, I'm on this side and there's a forest, deep, dark forest that I have to
Mm,
cross. And on the other side, there's this kind of light, right? The other side of the forest. And that's what I feel like is love. And so to me, when he said that, I was like, I can kind of see that. Okay, I'm going to try to remember every time that I'm going through this, I'm going to try to remember that's where I'm going. Love is going to, what is going to pull me. And again, it felt so far away, but that was the light, like the light at the end of the tunnel. But to me, it was the forest, and then that was one of the things, right, around that moment, literally. I don't know if it was
mhm.
before, 20 minutes before or after. But the other thing, like I said, I surrender. And the days in the retreat, at the last night, they guide us through a meditation. And in that meditation, uh, I found my soul.
Wow.
My soul for me.
And look at you now, and you're guiding so many people towards their own leadership, towards their own quantum leaps. And it's interesting because right now during the pandemic, you said this came to you a little bit before when it came to many of us. Now, me personally, I've had two other major awakenings in my life, and I intellectually knew that this time would be challenging and that the world would experience spiritual awakening, because there's so many people, like you said, we're taught to not look inward, we're taught to not sit with the discomfort, we are taught to escape it, or push it aside or put on a happy face. And we're in month 4 of this now, and I'm completely in that dark night again. And it's like, I know that to me it will lead to an expansion of my soul, it will lead to more light being let in and me being able to serve more and do more. But in the moment, it's just, I mean, it's so painful. Do you have any suggestions for people like me, people at home listening, who are wondering, like, how do I sit with this right now, and how long do I have to sit with it? Obviously there's no answer to that. It's going to take the time it's just going to take, right?
Yeah. Yeah. Many things come up. I mean, I'm going to grab what you just mentioned about the timing. Again, I got my miracle in 2 days. I know I'm a vivid example of, I know me, my life is a vivid example of a quantum leap, that it can happen fast, right? I also know what it feels like to be in resistance and in trying to control, especially again, I knew all the tools, right? I know how to shift this, I know how to shift this. So timing, it can take a long time if you believe that it will take a long time. if you truly, truly surrender, and surrender, again, this is very important to grasp on what really surrender is. Because if you look at the dictionary, the word surrender says, give yourself to the enemy, give your power to the enemy. Nobody wants that.
No.
Nobody wants that. But as I look into the etymology, the original meaning of surrender is render. And again, I have a whole explanation, like, in a document, because I did my research. But the true meaning, in essence, is you giving yourself to your higher power,
Got it.
and not
Yes.
to some God or universe outside, far away from you, but from that is your higher self, that is part of you, that is the highest version of you, who you truly are.
And that resonates. I feel that. And it's interesting. You said, yeah, if you think it's going to take a long time, it's going to take a long time. Otherwise, you can just say, okay, I'm going to do what you did and just surrender and allow and say, okay, take me there. I'm whatever it is, let's do this. And by truly being okay with that, and like you said, staying in this sense of maybe curiosity about it as well, just like the earlier part of your journey, we might be able to get to the other side more quickly. Who knows? I'm just but that's like part of my journey as well, is also learning to have patience. And especially when at this time in what's going on in our country, we have no clue how long we're going to be under these circumstances. We're not going to be out of this next week, right? And I think a lot of us, and me in particular, had this mindset that when we went into it, oh, it's just going to be a few months, couple months, 3 months, we're going to be back to normal. And it's not even close. So it's about also surrendering to the moment and the current circumstances that they are. Because if you can't change them, you still have to find a way to thrive. You can't be a victim to, well, my life is not like it used to be, so I can't be happy. I can't enjoy my life or help people. It's not situational. It's a choice. And I see that through you. It's a choice that can be made with a snap of a finger. And I say, oh, here's my miracle. So,
Which leads me to the second piece you just mentioned is, so you're giving yourself to the highest aspect of you, which brings you to trust. Knowing, right, in that moment. And again, when it happened to me, I had no choice. And deep down, I knew, and again, as I say this, everyone listen to this, because everyone, I believe everyone has this at the core. Deep down, you are taken care of. Your highest aspect is not going to abandon you. It has the perfect plan. So as you surrender, you're just giving to the one that knows what you need next to get you back to your truth, to get
and
you
that
to who you are.
to who you are, and that part of you is the divine part of you, the part that is all that is. Because there really a difference?
Nope.
It's not separate from us.
Nope.
Wow. Yeah, so this has been very enlightening, and your story is incredible, and I know that you have so much capacity to share and help others. Can you talk a little bit more about your work, what you're offering, and how people can get a hold of you?
Yes. Thank you so much for this space, Shelley, on that.
Absolutely.
Yeah. In me coming out of that space is, I knew that my contribution to the world would come stronger and stronger as things get worse. Because right now, all these things happening in the world, and as most of us feel like it's just going to get more intense, right? Because we have asked for it, because we're asking to come back again to who we truly are. the divine essence, the divine being we truly are, creators, powerful creators. And so it is a time now, as we have asked that, to shed everything. And so my work really has zoned in right now into facilitating that deep transformation of becoming, integration. Uh, so some people, what is coming to me, remembrance. So the first space, as the words come out, is like you remember who you are, right? But then you start to becoming. You becoming is shedding, is letting go, is transforming at a deep, deep, deep core level. Then integrated, right? Like bringing in forward, like when I met my soul, right? It just started to flourish, to come out through me, right? Again, it's not outside of me, it's inside and just gets to grow and grow inside me. And then the last piece is like, yeah, being the divine human, being the divine human, and fulfilling, whatever it is that we're called to do, play, uh, yeah, create things, and just have the life that we're meant to. So in that space of deep transformation, to me, uh, I no longer play in this space of heaviness. Although there's a lot of heaviness coming up, I've come back to my roots, and I invite people to step into the playground. Okay, again, that
Mhm.
curiosity, that joy, even though, again, transformation is not easy and a lot of things come up, if we keep in that energy, we don't get to shift. So the playground that I'm offering, there are several ways. There's with certain people is one-on-one. The leaders are really committed, and of course my capacity right there is limited, but I do have applications right there that they find in the website. I am actually right now opening the space of VIP days to, again, to those that I'm someone personally, I'm someone that I don't need to wait so long, or I do transformation really quick. As you notice, 6 years is, you said it, I'm like, yeah,
Very fast.
that feels like a lifetime for me. But for those that are ready to like do big shifts quick, that's the VIP day is opening up. And then I have the Quantum Playground, the Facebook, where I'm leading the group of leaders of leaders to go through this deep transformation that they're all experiencing again. And within that, there is the ones that are going through the, I actually don't call my 4 months anymore the dark night of the soul, but more like
Mm.
the deep human connection of my journey, because it
Oh,
really
wow.
me to connect to humanity, to humans, to the human experience in a very deep and beautiful way. Um, so there's some that are going through that, and there's some that have gone through that are moving into up leveling, into creating. And so that I feel like the community, it has all kinds of things, and I am opening a facilitation program soon. And I do, like, every couple of months, it seems like I'm called to do immersions, and quantum immersions are more like kind of like a half day retreat, 3-4 hours, where we go through deep transformation in a specific topic. Like I'm about to release the soul leadership embodiment, so
Mm.
there's always, I always have something going on. And ultimately, the program that I'm getting ready to bring to the world, as I today, I felt like, okay, everybody's going deeper into the darkest space. I feel like now is a time to start to help people to own their space. And the program is on themselves, on their energy, on their space, on who they truly are, and helping them learn their own transformation, their deep transformation. And the program is going to be called Owning You. Yeah.
I love it. And what is the website where they can find you?
Hmm. Pathtoyourself.com. Uh,
That's beautiful. Oh, yes, it's wonderful. I'm so thankful for your time on the show today. I think that you did a healing just by having this conversation, and a lot of people will be touched and moved by it and hear it at the perfect time. So thank you.
Thank you so much for having me, Jelly. Truly an
My
honor.
pleasure. Thank you for listening to Lighthouse Conversations. If this show resonates with you, it would mean so much to have you rate, review, and share. Don't forget to follow us at chellycanales.com and on social media.